Getting your teeth done's the last of your worries, mate.
They're good, mate.
They are getting fucking, like, my bottom ones are getting closer and closer together and like starting to twist.
Yeah, Stevie, welcome us to the show, please, mate. We are live. Stop your swearing, please. That's what normally happens when we go off the screen and we have the countdown.
Mate, to be fair to me, we've only been doing 3 years. It's fine.
Yeah. Is Ben not got a countdown for us today? That guy is seriously slacking. Are we actually live?
We are, mate. We're live.
We're live. Wow. I'm sure he can edit it up, I'm sure. But yeah, another episode of Urc Unloaded. It's great to have the gang back together. Shanks missing weeks, Barclay living it up in Hong Kong. But it's good to have you back, lads. We'll start off with you, John. You're looking fatigued.
I always look this way. It's been a minute. I was in Hong Kong last week. I wasn't there for the sevens, just to be clear. And have you been, Stevie?
Yeah. Just the ones.
I don't know how people live there, like full time. Is just, I don't know how Wilson was there for another 6 days after me. I don't know what state he's in now, but had that and then had a whiskey thing the weekend and yesterday. So it's been a tough few days. It's been a tough sort of week for me, Stevie. But I am excited to be back on URC and European rugby duty.
What I will say, John, is he played Sheko. It's an amazing course, that. What I will say
the week before that.
When you rocked up to do Edinburgh Dragons, you just got off a plane. The eyes don't lie. You were soulless.
Oh, mate.
But you got through it, so well done. I take my hat off to you for that. It was a tough
my finest performance, but I was on the plane to Doha, and I changed my flights like 2 days before. So you change the flights. The travel agent did it. I was on the flight to Doha and realized I had a 10-hour layover. They hadn't changed the second one. 10-hour layover in Doha.
Oh God!
Trying to
go to the
pub,
clever,
weren't you?
No, so I was almost in tears. So yeah, it was
back to the pub. Back to the pub, John, or did you rest up? Into the lounge?
I was done by that point. It was time to get home and just down tools from it.
Yeah, there'll be a few Scottish saunas, I'm sure, this week. The sweat.
Oh, there has been. Keep me right.
They'll all be in there. Rob Shaw, Delalio, Andy Good, Bates.
Mate, you bring the meat. You bring some food.
What about you, Shanks? Good weekend? Good weekend, Shanks? Covering a lot of rugby.
Yeah, I can't remember what I did. Covered one game, Scarlets, Ospreys, and it was Mother's Day, mate. So it was all about the women.
Oh, mate, I've seen that on your social media.
Creep, aren't I? I'm a creep.
No, your wife done that for you. She went onto your account and actually posted those 3 pictures of you and your kids. There's no way you're doing that.
Bloody hope not. I better check now. I better change my password. Starting to sweat. No, but nice weekend. It's a nice weekend. Stevie, you've watched a lot of rugby, you said, because you don't have a life. You've got a new baby.
Yeah, well, that's more or less it, Shanks. Yeah, I worked the game on the Friday night, which we'll kick off with, the Ulster game. Good game. 38 points to 34. A couple of talking points in it, lads, that I'm sure you'll pitch in on. But like Ulster going 17-0 down was just crazy. Like, they just can't keep doing this for the rest of the season. They went down early to Dragons the week before. Down, if you can remember, Shanks, to the Scarlets as well earlier on in the league. And yeah, they're just too easy to score points against. So yeah, that's an area of concern. But do you know what? Fair play to them. Fair play to them. Like, to score 6 tries against a Stormers team that probably thought they were going to cruise to a nice handy result. They got absolutely stuck into them. The atmosphere was tragic before the game, and then when it went 17-0 down, it almost was like, hold on, it almost turned into like a bit of a football crowd, especially with the yellow cards and the red card as well early in the second half. The whole momentum of the game just flipped over, and it was as you know, lads, it was some cracking tries that were scored, especially the Stuart Moore try with the Mikey Larry footwork back inside the Doki and back inside once again.
Have a look at the tries. Should have a look at the tries?
I'd love to have a look at the try. I'd love to just re-jog my memory of those tries. But yeah, good game all in all. What do you think of the red card, lads? Red card? You didn't see it, Shanks?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
No, Fouché, the captain. And I don't get it. Straight off a kickoff, all you want to do is scrag the guy down and then let the opposition kick the ball out or give it back to you. He's tackled and he just comes flying in, leading with the shoulder to the head. There's no option but to give a red card. He was the captain for the day. Sasha Feinberg Emangola Zulu, is that right? He was unbelievable. He was so good. Like,
Has he
didn't
been
deserve
injured?
to be in the losing side.
I've not seen him play this year. Has he been out for most of the year? He must have been.
Well, when it was on comms, Robbo seems to think there seems to be an issue with Manny Lebock and the whole Stormers setup, and that he is fit, but they're just not picking him. So, like, early on in the season, he was obviously the starting 10, but this guy's come straight back in, and, like, by all accounts, he's the next in line to replace Andre Pollard, like, for South Africa. He was so good. He was so good. But yeah, 38-34. Stormers got 2 points out of it. They got 5 points the week before against the Scarlets, so they'll be happy enough.
They had a big team as well out, Stevie. The Stormers, they had a really big team out, which surprised me. I generally thought they'd probably win because I didn't think Ulster were in a great place. Even though they've had some good wins recently, I thought Ulster would be there for the taking. But, mate, fair play coming back and scoring. I mean, the emotion must have been so up and down in that stadium, but then pure relief, final whistle. It must have been, like, super loud.
The thing was with the Shanks, it just kept flip-flopping back and forth in the game after it went 17-0 down. And the Stormers still had an opportunity right at the death. I think it was one of the tight head. I think the tight head prop come on, the replacement, got a turnover in their 22, around the 22, kicked it round about the halfway line, 10-meter line, and they had an opportunity to go again. And it looked like Ulster were knackered, like they were busted. And a line break, and they probably would have scored. But they lost the line out, and that was it. It was game over. But it was a cracking atmosphere after 15 minutes in the game. And as I said, there 6 tries scored. A lot of variety of tries as well. It just wasn't the maul. Just wasn't picking jams. Nice little wraparound play for the Stockdale try, counter-attacking tries. So, yeah, great to see. John, you were at Edinburgh versus the Dragoons. How'd you get on?
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I think I was there. I don't know if I was. I mean, I was there physically. It was. I actually thought. Do you know? I thought Dragons were going to upset. I don't know why I thought that, because they were so bad. They were so.
That's why.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I kind of felt sorry for them. It actually wasn't a great game. I just thought Edinburgh weren't. Edinburgh could have put 60, 70 points on them, let alone in the first half. Like, Darcy Graham was on a different level to every other player on the pitch. Like, he was line breaks, assisting, making mental breaks. Wes Houston was really good as well. Duhan only played about 8 minutes and did his ankle. So, man, they were good. Like, the guys that came back in, Jamie Ritchie, all the internationals came back in and played well. Pierre Schumann was solid. Set piece was good. Dragons couldn't do anything. Like, they just could not get anything going. Like, and they got the ball. First phase dropped it, like 0 kicking game. So yeah, I kind of expected a bit more, because I thought Dragons were good the previous week, played a good brand of rugby, kept hold of the ball, but Edinburgh had way too much for them. And actually, to be fair to Edinburgh, it's probably the most ambitious I've seen them play. They were very good against Munster a couple of weeks ago, and then obviously lost in a rubbish game at Benetton. But actually, I think there's maybe a bit of a switch that's gone there about a bit more attacking mindset. They know who their 10 is. They know who the 9 is now. Alec Price is off in the summer, so they're sticking with Velicott and Jesus, I can't remember his name, Ross Thompson. So now they were good, but the league's wild. I was going to say before, if Ulster had lost that, they would have been in like 13th or 14th. Yeah. And now they're in 6th. It's like the same for Edinburgh. Like, you could easily sneak into it now, but Edinburgh have got a pretty decent run, I think. So.
It's a big game, John. Right, sorry, Shanks. Right at the end of the season, Edinburgh host Ulster in the last game, and that could really be a decider, like, of who sneaks into that 7th, 8th position. Like,
I know, it's going to be interesting. It is mad.
On the Dragons.
Yeah, I feel sorry for them. Yeah, I do a bit, because, I mean, this year they've only won 1, and unless they beat the Scarlets in the next round, which they've got in Rodney Parade. Then they've got the Ospreys Judgment Day. They've got Stormers and the Bulls away. I mean, last year they won 3. I think the year before they won 4. So it's slowly been going downhill. And I remember this time last year, we were talking about, there's going to be a change there. Tia's come in. Lloyd Evans was going to be the 10, and they were going to build their game around him. That hasn't worked. Harry Wilson had signed from Australia. Cummins, another international. Solomon Funaki, I don't think he's going to play this year because he's injured. And none of those players have really stepped up. I think they've all been pretty poor signings. Obviously, Tia is now taking charge, and they're talking about new players now coming in. Dylan Lewis. There's talk about Tinas De Beer, Thomas Young. And I just hope we're not in the same position, this time next year where none of the new imports have made, any difference to the team. What they need a proper world-class 10. They haven't got one. So they've got no one really that can put them around the field.
There's not too many teams that do, Shanks, to be
honest.
No,
there's not. But my point being, Steve, they need some of their finances, I believe, are better than others in this league. So if they want to progress, and there is a marquee player allowed next year, then they should go out and buy one, because you've got to speculate to accumulate. And at the moment, they've got no one. And it's showing, because they've got no one to control a game. They're missing easy kicks at goal. It's just, it must be demoralizing for them. One game they've won this year, and that was the first game of the season.
I was going to say first game of the year. I tell you, Hugh Anderson at fullback, he's a decent player.
He's really good. He's young, but he's really good on his feet.
Yeah, made a few mistakes, but of all the players, Aaron Wainwright again is you can see he's trying, but he's I
also think they got 2 wingers who, they got 2 wingers who are quite similar as well in Ashton Hewitt and Rio Dye. They're not like a Darcy Graham type of player. I don't think they look for too much work. They're really good at finishing off tries if they're given a bit of space, but they don't necessarily create too many. And I think that's why Edinburgh work and Scotland work so well in the wings, and also Ireland, because you've got those 2 different types of players. Matt Hansen, James Lowe, Van der Merwe.
Yeah.
So it's not great for them at the moment. They just can't wait for their season to end, I'm sure, and rebuild next year.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right, Shanks. It's been a doom and gloom year for the Dragons, but you do think there's a bit of a change or momentum swing, and then they can't back it up the following week. Obviously against Ulster they went a bit better, and then got destroyed against Edinburgh. The Bulls destroyed Zebre, 63 points to 24. Hold on a second. It was reasonably close for 54, 55 minutes. What was it, 35-24, something like that. But then they ran away with it. 4 tries.
We said that, Stevie, because I think they reached an emotional high last week against the Sharks, where they were really good and they could have won that game. This week, though, just way too much. They travelled from 0 altitude to altitude. It hit them hard. They were beaten pretty much physically, and at some stages, some of their tackling was a little bit suspicious. It went missing. It did. It went missing for a bit, but I mean, we can't be too harsh on them because they've had one of their best seasons probably ever.
It must be,
they're
going
well.
Was it Sharks the week before they ran close?
Yeah.
So they've come away from the trip with what, one point, or to finish with 2?
No, I think 2 points. I think they got try bonus and coming within 2 or within 7 last week. So it's not disastrous for them. I just enjoy watching them this season, and yes, they do concede points, but they're going to give it a lash. They're going to give it a go. They have a little bit of quality throughout their squad. But Bulls have too much quality.
Jacobs was good
in the centre. Jacobs, yeah.
Mate, he's
the whole backline scored a try. Oh,
That's
Devin
mad.
Williams didn't, the fullback.
No,
but everybody else did. Crazy. Lads, we'll leave that game. What about the Irish Derby? I know you mentioned, John, about the stadium. It was pretty cool, wasn't it, at the GAA stadium down in Connacht? They lost, obviously, 24 points to 30 against the rejuvenated Munster side, but it was a half-decent game.
Maybe it was. How is that near where the sports ground is? It miles away? Just excuse my ignorance.
I have no idea.
No idea.
I'm not 100% sure. Yeah.
No one knows. Anyway, it wasn't a great question. Anyway, it was class. Like watching the game, the stadium looks awesome. Looked like an awesome atmosphere. What do you think of the red card?
Yeah. I don't think it was a red card.
I don't think it's a red card.
I was listening to Alan Quinlan there yesterday or today, and he was talking about all the language that the referee used about him being reckless and coming from distance, and like shoulder was or arm was tucked. Like I think I agree with him. I think all that was wrong. I don't think he came from distance. I don't think he was reckless, and I don't think that the arm was tucked. So I sort of agree that I think it was a yellow card, and just think it's always made so much worse when the actual player that gets hit has to go off injured. And it did look like there was a glancing knee to the head when Nankerville entered the ruck, which was completely accidental. I'm not sure it was. I think it was just more clumsy. What do you think, Shanks?
Where's he meant to go and what's he meant to do? You can't just leave a ruck. You know, if someone's over the ball, you can't just let him have it. You've got to try and do something. I thought he attempted to go low. I thought he attempted to try and get underneath the player, but you know, when you're Jacklin, you are quite low as it is. You know, he didn't try and croc roll him. He didn't try and slip off him and use his weight. I thought it was really harsh as a red card because what are you meant to do in that situation?
I don't even think that's a penalty.
No, I didn't have the guts to say that, John, but I'm glad you have.
Do you agree? Most red you see is like the players kind of know was it yet, and Nankoro looks like he doesn't have a clue. Even when he gets called out, it doesn't look like he's got a clue what he's done. And I know there's a bit of sportsmanship play acting, but I think what he meant to do, like that is a rugby, and he's not. His arm isn't tucked. He's not come flying, and he's not. You're right. He's not croc rolled him. He's not aimed for the head. And I think that's one of those ones where you. I don't know. Are you refereeing an outcome? Or are you refereeing an incident? You referee the outcome potentially. So anyway, it's a good game, but I just thought that was the big talking point was that red card. I thought, but Munster did well to hold on with 14 men for 60 minutes.
Yeah, they did. They played some nice rugby. I thought Jack Crowley was unbelievable. Still, his contract is up in the air. It's bananas there. If you Munster and Jack can't seem to get things nailed down, hopefully it is sorted out. But it's not a bad way to go into negotiations again once you come off the back of a man of the match performance away from home to beat one of the rivals. So fair play to him. Craig Casey was brilliant as well. Tag Byrne half decent, and yeah, they for me they fully deserve their win. Sean O'Brien again on the wing, excellent player, really strong. So yeah, fair play to them. Connacht, a bit like Ulster, they only seem to play when they're behind in games. You know, they can't go out and take games by the scruff. So I think Connacht's race is run, lads. I just don't think they've got enough there to make the top 8, but we'll wait and see. But one team that might have enough, Shanks, the Scarlets, playing some good rugby, 38 points to 22 win over the Ospreys.
Yeah, they've still got to go to South Africa, though. That is the worry at the end of the season. But, I mean, the Ospreys didn't have their full strength team. It was quite a strong team, but they didn't pick their back three, basically, which has played the last few games. But, you know, I think they were the favourites coming into this game. They had momentum. They've had a good season since Mark Jones has taken control. I mean, it was an exciting game, but man, it was so many errors. Like a lot of the tries came from errors. The first kickoff is dropped by Ellis Mee. Eddie James loses the ball in contact the first 3 times he carries. Josh McLeod does the same. Johan Lloyd can't recover when he's chasing back to slide on the ball. He misses it completely. And the Ospreys were 17 points ahead. Then the game just loses it all. I think the referee really struggled to control the game. There was yellow cards, two yellow cards.
It was a free-for-all at times and stuff.
It was, though, wasn't it? Like the referee lost it. Like players are losing their heads completely. Some decisions were completely random. You know, Kieran Hardy gets yellow carded for I'm not sure what. There was no previous warning to Josh McLeod, who gets yellow carded for taking the 9 in the Ospreys half. There was no like 3 or 4 penalties leading up to that. There's no warning. I just thought it was totally bizarre. But what I will say is the Scarlets did really well to come back from 17 points down and get a grip onto the game. They made use of 2 yellow cards, as you would, 15 on 13. They scored some nice tries. And it was a pretty decent performance from them. They needed that win. They've not had too many this season. It was a local derby, but I suppose this sets up this weekend in the Challenge Cup, last 16, really well, because the Scarlets got the Ospreys in the Swansea.com stadium. So it's going to be good. Bit disappointed, really, with the Ospreys. Dan Edwards scores a nice individual try. Looked pretty sharp. Nice little show and go on the inside. And Fafita was decent. Lousy was a nightmare, charging down kicks, just ruck time. You know, those two are so important to the Scarlets if they do well. So is McLeod, the captain. But yeah, all in all, decent performance by the Scarlets. Crowd were good. Great atmosphere before the game and looked like a really good feeling for them after.
John, one of the teams that has upset you this year because of how inconsistent they've been is the Sharks. And once again, they get beaten at home by, you might say, a second/third Leinster side who were full of young guys who had little experience against fully fledged internationals, World Cup winning Springboks, and they turned them over. What has gone on with the Sharks?
Well, you said that. I think I saw a quote on socials, and you said like something's wrong there. We said this for ages. Like, and I can't. That's the first game they've lost at home this season. I think I saw that as well, which doesn't stack up to me. But I'm just looking at their team, and Hendrickson, Mapimpi, Esther Hayes, and Julius Hooker, and Bazooka comes on at fullback. Front rows: Oxenche, Imbanambi, Vincent Koch. They've got Chituka, Khaleesi. You know, it's mad, and that team should be hammering at home Leinster second thirds. They should, and that's maybe been harsh, but like it has to be coaching. It has to be, or what else can it be? And no one wants
right, John.
But you're right. You've got this amazing team on paper, and you're not seeing anywhere near the level of consistent performance that you'd expect from a team with that much quality. Because if they get it right, mate, they could win the league with that squad. When teams have to trust that.
It's not even like even the old players, John. Like, you know, you could say like Mapimpi is probably coming towards the end of his career, but they've got Hooker, they've got Julius, they've got some amazing players. You know, youth as well as experience there.
It's baffling. It'd be super frustrating. Yeah, the bizarrely they might even end up top 4 though potentially. So
yeah, they could.
Which
should game in hand as well.
Yeah, I bet they win it. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I think there's something not right. Even watching the lads in studio, and like Simon Zebo said, this team should be 30 points better than Leinster. Like, you know, they should be, but they're not, and there has to be some sort of reason for that. Like Mbanambi, he misses that tackle. I think was it on who was it scored the try? Scott Penny scored the try, and he's just like ambling into defense, like as if, you know, as if you're like 10 yards out from the Leinster try line, and he just goes in for a score. Just the work rate's not there, and the body language isn't great. The scrum wasn't that dominant. Fair play to Clarkson, McKee, Cian Healy, who flew out midweek to make up the match day 23, and then all of a sudden he's starting the game. Unbelievable from him. Mangan and Deeney, like those two lads are maybe 5th choice, 6th choice, second rows, like 4th choice at a push, one of them. Ridiculous. Soraka had a really good game, and obviously Max Deegan, the captain, who somersaulted into a 1-foot high swimming goal.
That scared me. That scared me.
Yeah.
That really scared me. Like I'm sure he didn't know how deep it was, because he looked like he went straight in, not like he tried to land on his back.
Oh, don't, man. That's like
it was.
Like,
I'm so glad everyone's all right.
Yeah, me too.
We've seen some
but actually,
instances like that.
there was a lot of social media platforms used it as like, look at the way Leinster celebrated their victory. But I was looking at it going, I'd rather not watch that because it could have ended up very, very serious. But thankfully, as you say, Shanks, it didn't. Fintan Gunn, brilliant 9. Watch him. Watch out for him in the future for Leinster and for Ireland. We know it's a hot topic with Gibson Park, maybe nearing the end of his international career. So watch out for him. But fair play to Leinster. Jeez, I'm sure Leo Cullen was absolutely delighted. And there was a few beers on the way home in the plane. So well done to Leinster. Benetton, we'll move on. Benetton, again, leaving it very, very late. But do you know what? I like the way Cardiff played, Shanks. They looked half decent with ball in hand. Again, a few questionable referee decisions.
Yeah, well, last one was the scrum, wasn't it?
Maybe went against
the scrum
them.
was the last one, which sealed the win for Benetton. I tell you what, I was impressed with. I was impressed with Evan Lloyd. This guy sort of leapfrogged a lot of hookers during Warren Gatlin's second term to be replacement hooker, basically, for Wales. He started against Benetton, and I thought he was really good. I thought he was really powerful. I thought his lineouts were pretty good, but his point of difference, I think, between all the hookers is his carrying. He's such a good carry. Yeah, massively, and he's fast as well, and he's so powerful. You can just tell that by looking at him. I mean, he does really need to work on his throwing because he's a converted back row. But he was someone that really stood out for me. That's probably one of the best games I've seen him play. Jim Botham scores a try. Ellis Bevan scores a try with some nice little interlinking play. I think it is Rory Jennings goes through, puts a nice ball on the inside. Again, like Callum Sheedy was good last week with his kicking, and I mentioned that about how nice it is when someone nails their kicks and you've got the confidence that he's going to get this, keep the scoreboard ticking. He misses I would say another fairly easy one, and it's killing Cardiff. It's killing a lot of teams. It's killing the Dragons as well. Not having a really high percentage kicker that you just know is going to bang your goals, whether it, inside the 15s, outside the 15s, they do become 50-50s. It's a tough kick, but you gotta start nailing them. The ones inside the 15, and he doesn't. And I just think that's a game they'd look at again and think another one we should have won, a bit like last season. But
yeah,
the scrum, the big call on the scrum. I couldn't see it, Stevie, because it was the far side. But it's called, and Albanose nails his kick. To be fair, I thought he had a really good game. He did miss a kick as well, but scores a nice try. Like watching Thomas Albanose.
He was good.
Like you like that. You just don't know what he's going to do. He must be like. I know sometimes he can maybe play a little bit too much, try something that's not on. But on the flip side, he just does stuff which not many players can do, and he's rapid as well.
Yeah, mate, he's rapid. They've got Cast obviously in the Champions Cup. Then
good chance.
They're away
to win
to Lions, away to Stormers, and then they have Glasgow at home and Munster away. That's a tough run in. Tough run, and they're currently sitting in 7th in the league. I don't know. I give them a chance. I give them a fighting chance. Like, they just don't roll over these days. I give them a fighting chance.
Not at all. Not at all. They're always in the fight.
Yeah, always in the fight. Glasgow's always in the fight, John. Shanks and I thought it would have been a bit closer last week. We thought Glasgow would win the game, but 42-0. They nilled the Lions at home. You were pretty impressed, or were you unimpressed by the Lions?
A bit of both. There was a mental win there, and Glasgow were 37-0, or maybe even 42-0 at half time. I'll have to go back and check. And they played with the wind, and you wouldn't see they had a kick off Lions, and it went out behind the halfway line. They had no kicking game anyway. The Lions, they just want to run everything. It went behind them. Yeah, it wasn't even Glasgow's first choice team. Xander Ferguson didn't play. Jack Dempsey wasn't playing. Hugh Jones wasn't playing. There's a load of guys. Josh Mackay's obviously out injured. So, Glasgow were good. They were slick, probably at what they're sort of attacking best, but they didn't have to do anything defensively. They had to do nothing. And I don't know, Lions. I think we all like watching the Lions they weren't up for the weekend, lads. They were not up for it.
Yeah, they didn't. There wasn't their strongest team either, mind.
Yeah, that's true. But the trips are tough, so they've got
Yeah.
a good run in the lines. They've got 4 in a row now at home, don't they?
Yeah.
So they've got which they could easily go
Yeah.
20 points from. You know, not many teams you saw at the end of last year where they hammered Glasgow at the end of last year, didn't they? Over there,
They got
hammered
Benetton, Connacht, Scarlets, and the Ospreys, and they could win all 4 of them with bonus points.
Yeah, and that'll put them right up. So
Yeah,
I don't want to be too harsh. I mean, it was again. You see 40-0. It's like I actually turned off halftime. I was like, the game's done. Dame's bettered. So, but Glasgow look good, and they'll get better and better.
John,
Chance,
Tom
yeah.
Jordan. How long's he signed for at Glasgow? Is he out of contract soon, or
He's gone. He's signed for Bristol.
Signed for Bristol.
has he?
Yeah. He signed for Bristol a few months back.
Where have I been?
They offered a contract, and then one of those ones where I think the union thought that he was calling the bluff. So I've got this decent offer at Bristol, and they said, well, and then he signed it. They didn't come near to what he was getting offered, so he's down to Bristol. So I still don't know what his best position is. I think he'd be awesome for Bristol. The way they play, he'd be a hell of a signing.
I think if Scotland, you're talking like international. I think if Scotland fully strength team, he doesn't fit in there in the starting 15. But what you can do is you can end up having 6-2 bench with him because he can cover all over that back line. Yeah. So he is super valuable, and he got a lot better as the Six Nations went on in that 12.
You think he Bolter or not? A few people saying that.
Nah.
No.
I don't think so. I don't know who would be a bolter. Henry Pollock, maybe, but then someone in the back row is going to have to go, and that's probably the biggest strength.
Jack Willis,
Darcy Graham, would he be a bolter? Do you think?
Not really bolter. Not in the same sense of he's got 40 odd caps, and I can't. Someone asked me that. Who's your Blair Murray? Might be someone like that. Yeah, there won't. I don't think there'll be many. Henry Pollock, maybe that'd be wild.
That would be wild.
Owen Farrell.
No, come on.
Faz did mention during the week or end of last week, he was saying about like there's going to be no token picks. Like, you know, it's going to be your position or your squad announcement is going to be justified. Like, I just can't see him going for somebody left field that doesn't deserve it. And personally, I don't think does Pollock deserve it? No, I don't think so. Like, you know, he's had 1 cap for England. He scored a try, and he's a couple of good highlight reels for Northampton. And there's absolutely no doubt he is a quality player, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. But does he deserve to be sprung into a Lions Test team? I don't know. We'll see. Player of the round, lads. Anybody in mind?
Darcy Graham.
Yeah.
Darcy Graham. You're on Darcy Graham.
Different layers.
The kick ahead after he collected that chip was unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's something he's added to his game as well, the kind of kicking game. But he was playing a different sport to everyone else on the pitch. Honestly, if you watch him, I thought he was so good, so dangerous. And
remember when I got you saying Darcy Russell?
I said that. Yeah,
I started saying it, and then John called me. No, initially I did, and then you started calling him Darcy.
Oh, don't, mate. Yeah, when him and Finn are playing together, it's easy to do.
Yeah. Darcy Graham's a good call. I thought Mikey Lowry for Ulster was brilliant. 5 defenders beaten, 80 or 90 meters carried with the ball, set up a couple of tries, covered the backfield unbelievably well. But I don't win the vote tonight, so it's Darcy Graham for Urc Unloaded Player of the Round. Well done, Darcy. Congratulations. It's a big honour.
Champagne's on the way.
Rant of the week. I've got a rant.
Go on,
Go on, Steve.
And I know I put it into the group chat. Why do we not have a TV monitor at the halfway line instead of referees running 70 or 80 yards up the pitch 5 or 6 times a game to have a look at the screen to make a decision on a yellow, possibly red card? It's just, it would save a lot of time.
And also, it's easier to look at it on a screen like in front of you, like a 26-inch LCD TV than a big screen which is pixelated. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, there we go. That's mine. John, 10-hour layover.
10-hour layover, yeah. It's tough. It was my fault, it isn't Czech, but it was. It's not what I needed, Steve. I'm just happy to be back, lads. I made it back in one piece, and that's all that matters. So there's not really around for me.
No, you've had a good
Shank, you
holiday.
must have fun.
No, I'm all right. I'm okay. I've got a golf day tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. Jonathan Davis, Jiffy, he's got a golf day down in Langland Bay, which is the Mumbles in Swansea, raising money for Valindra. Our friend, Sean Holly from his golf company, Great Days Golf, is organising it. So I'm happy. I'm happy the weather's turned.
Is he going to give you a practice session before you go out? Give you a few tips in the bunker?
Hopefully.
Get the
Show
glasses
me
on.
what I need. You need one of these, a tea. You need a towel. You need to put your towel in your belt. You need glasses. You need a hat.
Get the visors on, mate. I'm playing Muirfield
Oh.
on Friday. Can't wait. Wait.
Oh, lovely, lads.
Genuine
lovely.
boys. The weather's turned. The weather's turned. You know, you wake up in the morning. It's light. It's gone up in temperature. It's golf season.
Life's good.
We'll have to
That's
get
not
you
bad.
over, lads. Portrush, there's a new hotel that's just opened up, and it's on the boundary line of 4th hole at Royal Portrush. It's called Dunluce Lodge. It's only like 30 rooms, but it's a bit like Loch Lomond, sort of feel to it. It's got its own spa and everything. So when you come over, boys, we'll
Are you
take a
boys doing
trip.
Loch Lomond this year in October?
Yes.
Come on, Fez. Come on. I'm with you.
You get the invite.
No, I'm not doing it this year. It's too much on. Too much on.
Fair enough. Right, boys, we'll fly in. Final thoughts. Obviously, Europe this weekend. All games live on Premier Sports. Of course, you can watch every minute of that. Looking forward to it. Stellar lineup of guests on that this weekend. Friday night, Northampton versus Claremont. Lads, give us your thought. A quick thought on each.
I'm not sure on this one. I think this will be close. Like Northampton being bit
Claremont's
up and
playing
down this season. Yeah, I'm going to say Claremont.
I'm going to say Claremont as well. Yeah.
I'll go Northampton just at home. Saturday, Toulon versus Saracens. And this is the one that I want to talk about very briefly. Did you read during the week there about Mark McCall saying about sending the B team more or less? What's your thoughts and opinions on that?
I hate it because Europe should be the top tier competition no matter what. It should be taken more seriously than other competitions, but it's not. Obviously, Saracens want to focus on the league. They need to rest their players at some stage. He's viewed this as a chance to rest their players. It's like a negative idea to the game because you're resting your players. It's sort of saying, we're not taking this seriously. We probably don't think we can win. So we're going to give a second team. We're going to send a second team and just see how we get on.
Yeah, don't like it. Yeah, with you. I think it's bad luck and I get it because those guys have played. So a lot of those lads came straight back from England duty and then straight in playing the following week. So you're going to have to get a break somewhere. But I mean, the knockout stage of Europe against Toulon over there. What a game it should be. Not great.
But they've struggled a bit though, Saracens. They're not the team of old because they're going through a transition. No. They're rebuilding, and that's just where they are at the moment. I think 4 or 5 years ago, if they're in this position, they would have gone full hit.
Yeah. I wasn't happy with that when I read it, but like if Saracens have a big enough squad, they'll be able to rotate. But obviously get their strongest players out for the games like this. But anyway, Leinster versus Harlequins. I'm sure we're all in agreement. Leinster should win that with all their big boys back in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see Mike McCarthy. Can't wait to see Mike McCarthy in his Viking hat. Man, I love it. I love it so much.
He's off, isn't that? Casters versus Benetton.
Benetton.
You going Benetton, lads? No way. Really?
Yeah. I just think I think they've claimed a few big scalps this year. They beat La Rochelle at home in the pool. I just think they've got that game.
They've not played that well all season, John, and it's going to come because they've got a lot of quality in their team. I think if it all clicks, they'll do them.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Cast. La Rochelle, Munster. Obviously, no Nankerville, no doubt, unless it's appealed and the appeal is sorted. But I think La Rochelle,
Yep.
O'Gara, as old team.
La Rochelle
a
haven't
good
won a
game
game.
that.
They've not won a game since the start of January, La Rochelle. So they are not.
Mhm.
But I think over there, the amount of power they have will be, it'll be decent.
Yeah.
I'm back in La Rochelle.
Glasgow, Leicester, going to be a cracker.
Yeah,
Glasgow.
I'm doing that. Glasgow.
Yeah, Glasgow for me. Sunday, we've got Bordeaux's got a really, really difficult game against Ulster.
What was the score last time they played?
I think it'd be closer than you think. Honestly, I think it'd be closer than you think. I think Bordeaux will win by about 40.
I agree. I think.
Mate, did you watch Bordeaux against? I saw the highlights against Toulouse, mate.
Yeah. What's the highlights?
I'm telling you now, that is going to, watch out. That is, I think Bordeaux could easily win it this year.
Yeah, I think so too. Ulster missing Robert Balakouni's out with a hamstring injury, and Ben Carson, who came in late for James Hume at the weekend through sickness. He's out with a back injury or neck injury or something. I think Werner Cox still out as well. And they're obviously don't have too many heavy hitters in the front and in the pack as well. Ian Henderson's still out as well. So a few injuries. So easy Bordeaux win. Toulouse versus Seal, easy Toulouse win. I think we're all in agreement there.
Yeah.
Run through the Challenge Cup, lads. Just give me a predict. Just say Edinburgh, Lyon. Edinburgh, Lyon.
No, Lions, mate.
Or Lions, sorry. Lions.
Come on, mate. I'm going to say Edinburgh.
I'm Edinburgh.
Lions. Come on. Po Bath.
I thought you were going to say Pow then. Bath. It depends what team Bath send. I'm guessing, I'm hoping it's going to be their full strength team, but don't know. But I'd say Bath.
Montpellier, Gloucester.
Montpellier.
Ooh.
Gloucester playing well at the moment.
Yeah. Connacht, Cardiff.
Seb Atkinson's really good in centre.
Yeah, good well.
Looks super good. Connacht.
Yeah, I'll go Connacht.
Connacht, yeah.
Yeah, lovely, lads, lovely. Well, here, it's great to see you back, lads. Good to get the gang back together, and I'm sure
best friends.
we're not going to catch up over the weekend. Are any of you two in studio over the weekend?
Yeah, I'm in Dublin.
No.
When are you in Dublin, Shanks?
Saturday.
Are you in studio all day Saturday?
Yeah, I'm gonna eat my body weight in food.
Are you staying over Saturday night?
Sure am, Big Stevie.
Well, we shall have a little pint or two.
Well, I'll ask Laurel, Big Lol Delalio, whether you're invited or not, because we got something planned.
Oh, fuck you then. I'll go and do my own thing. All right, cheers, boys.
Cheers, Jack.